Do you feel the pressure to grow your business, but doing so feels a bit like drowning? Welcome to Slow Growth Business, the show for business owners and leaders to quiet the noise and lead your business to success, one day at a time, slow and steady. If you feel your business is running you and you're ready to run it, you've come to the right place. Now, here are your hosts, business coaches Jimmy DeGroot and me, Kyle Bullock.
Hey everybody, that's Kyle Bullock. I'm Jimmy DeGroot, the guys that Kyle just told you about in the pre-roll. And hey, we're here today to talk about something really kind of interesting that, especially in this economy, in this world, with lab-grown diamonds, with gold prices going way up, something that we find is sort of a pandemic among jewelry stores, and that is... What is it? A pandemic? Or are we not saying that word anymore?
No, I just thought it was. I just think it's funny.
Right.
People are going to hear you say pandemic, and then hear what you're going to say and be like, "That's not that bad.
That's
We
not.
do that
That's
here,"
not.
and
All right.
that we're the ones being like, "No, it's pretty bad."
Is it an epidemic? Is it an epidemic? Is
It's
it?
spanning the globe, maybe. Yes. The problem in jewelry that's spanning the globe, and none of you think that it's really a
I
problem.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. You quantify it then.
No, Mr. Pandemic. What's the big pandemic in jewelry?
Okay. It's salespeople selling with their own wallet,
Yeah.
right? It's salespeople, and you know what? It's when you think of it from a real high level. If the owner of the store is doing well financially, no wonder they're selling $5,000 on average, right? Their average ticket's $5,000, $10,000, right? So I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about that here. I did a deep dive into with AI, and I found some really kind of fun stuff. So, and you're a psych guy, so let's get into it.
Yeah. So I chime. This is something people hear about from time to time, that you should not sell out of your own wallet, which means that you get a salesperson that's stuck selling the same average retail over and over again. It's maybe not hitting a goal, and they're not growing their average retail. It's an indication that they're stuck in their own wallet. So they are selling to customers and they're showing products that they themselves might be able to afford. But the idea of selling something that's multiples what they could have possibly dreamed to afford is
Yeah.
outside of their mind. So
Yeah.
they sell $2,000-$3,000 items fairly well. 5,000 feels like a stretch. 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 seems completely unbelievable to them.
Yeah. Absurd.
And store owners typically, independent store owners and managers have typically higher average retails for a couple of reasons. One is kind of, I think, your point, and two, they have higher average retails because they don't sell all the time. So they only sell when there's a more valuable item at stake.
Mhm.
Or, and this happens so many times, even to some of our clients who are watching, you are pushing salespeople out of the way of a big sale so that you can come in and take it because you don't feel that they can do it.
Right.
And you might be right. But also,
Mhm.
that's kind of your fault because
Yeah.
you're the one who should be training and leading them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be accusatory. I'm just telling you that's just the way that it is, folks.
Yeah.
And now that we've set that problem up for you, it is upon you. And if you're a salesperson listening to this is upon you to now do something about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very interesting. It's called the false consensus effect. Psychologists call it the false consensus effect because it's basically they assume that everybody thinks and feels the way they do about such and such religion, politics, finances, what they can afford, etc. So it's really kind of interesting digging into this. One of the things I thought was really interesting is, and when you think about it in our jewelry stores are all emotional purchases. The only thing that's really not an emotional purchase is maybe a watch battery, right? But everything for the most part is an emotional purchase. It's there for a celebration. It's there to commemorate. It's there for an aspiration. You know, I just got the new job, so I want my rollie. Going to get my rollie, right? Um, so and then so an emotional purchase is completely different than a logistical or a logical purchase like gas, like fuel. Okay. Um, and I thought that was really an interesting thing because we tend to we tend to kind of sell jewelry like we buy jewelry. You know, we go to the show, we see things, it's all laid out there, there's masses of it, and or a vendor comes into our store, it's all laid out, they roll them all out, and there it sits on your case, and you, the big king or queen, get to choose, you know, who will
Tray after
reside.
tray comes out, and you got to pick.
Yeah. And so we buy as jewelers, we buy logistically, right? I know you do because you're a reports guy. You know, you are the anti-emotional purchaser. So, but
Yeah.
that's funny. And as soon as it goes into our showcases, it's a completely different product. It's a celebratory product. It's an emotional product. So I thought those are, kind of some interesting insights there. Things we've kind of known all along, but you know,
You
uh,
got to, but breaking is hard. And I think recognizing it is even harder sometimes. Um, we see it. I know I've gotten to a point now where if I look at your salespeople's data over a period of time, I know when that's happening pretty intuitively because one of the dead giveaways is that they have an average retail that is significantly lower than the manager or store owner, and it stays that way. Another way you can kind of spot this is that there's a person on your team who gets a higher percentage of units sold, so they see a lot more people, but they have a lower percentage of gross profit contribution. So let me put it
sure.
this way. They do 40% of all the transactions, the number of transactions, but they contribute 25% or 30% of the profit dollars.
Hmm.
So that second number, the profit dollars, is lower than the number of transactions they see. When you see this happening, it tells me that person's clerking.
They're working
They're,
hard.
they're
They're
working
working.
really hard and they're seeing
Yeah.
lots and lots of people and they're selling
Yep.
lots and lots of low-end product, and that's
Beads.
not really contributing to profit.
Right.
And we, by the way, we tend to praise these salespeople because we say, look at how busy they are. They're working with
Right.
people all the time. They're bringing up all these tickets. So look at how wonderful this salesperson is. That's
Yeah.
not wonderful because they're treading water and they're working really, really, really hard to not contribute that much in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you could train that person to do, let's say, 35% of the tickets instead of 40, but they contribute 35% of the profit, that means that they work a little bit less and they actually make you and themselves a lot more money. Now,
Hmm.
that's a pretty smart and efficient move.
Yeah.
So you can like look it out on paper, and when you see those scenarios where there's a misbalance of the profit and transactions, or you see that they're stuck at an average retail for a long time, it indicates that they have hit a ceiling. And the number one way to fix this, like the number one way to fix average retail sales with your staff, yes, it's training. It is also in changing your environment and your merchandise.
Mm.
It's absolutely. So if you still have silver in your cases and lots of it, you are not going to raise your average retail. And your salespeople will get stuck selling it because you're used
Right.
to selling it as a
Yep.
downgraded product.
Yeah. It's a
So,
habit. It's reflexive. Reflexive.
absolutely.
So let me ask you this then. As a result, or in thinking of all of this, do you think we have gotten? I don't want to use. Yes, I do want to use the word lazy. I like. Have we gotten lazy in going right to recommending lab-grown diamonds right off the
Yeah,
bat?
I think so. Because we're not thinking about solving problems. We're just saying, well, the customer said it, I'm going to do it.
Hmm.
So that's not solving a problem.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
Okay.
If a person came in and they said they want lab-grown diamonds because it's the ethical choice, my dear friends listening, if you don't know this already, lab-growns are not the more ethical choice over naturals, not by a mile.
Right.
Okay, you want to
Well,
talk
and
about that?
you know some things that the
Yeah, oh
listeners
yeah.
don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
And maybe we should do a podcast about that because my
yeah.
dear friends, let me just tell you, maybe they're using some so quote unquote solar energy. They're
Hmm.
not. They're using coal.
Yeah.
Um, most likely. There also is
And lots of other shady things.
like money laundering, all kinds of
Yep.
crazy things that we don't
Yeah.
seem to care about. It
Yeah.
is not the more ethical choice. So what we've seen is that people are just selling it because it's the buzzword item, and we're not educating customers on making an informed decision. If they want lab, there's nothing to be wrong with that, but they better be making an informed decision, not one generated by ChatGPT that misses a lot of true information that's going on. Okay, when you say we're getting lazy selling labs, because one of the number one things that we also hear with people selling labs is, well, it means that they can spend less money. So it's a money saving device.
Right.
And
And we've likely imposed that budget upon them
yeah.
based upon our wallet. So
Oh, yeah. Because we were just talking to some people recently who said, well, people are doing it because it's saving money. But when we break down the sales process, the reason that people are saying they're going to put lab melly in the mounting but to save money is because we offered that to
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And we said it would save them money. And when we do an actual breakdown of, we've been doing this now more and more. I'm doing it with another store, Jim. You don't even know. We're comparing the lab units with the natural diamond units, and guess what? The average retail in both of them is the same. They're not saving money. They're spending the same amount of money. So it's not a saving device. Well, you hit. I think that's right now what we're seeing is not just average retails are floundering when you are selling with your wallet, but we're also floundering in the sales process. And those are two really big ways that we see it was like a default to lab grown jewelry because it saves money. And we find that it's not really saving money necessarily. In some cases, it can. It's actually just affording people a bigger look with the same amount of money, which
Right.
is different. That's not the same thing as saving money.
Right.
It's getting a bigger look, which we've done in the past with clusters, Love Bright, Invisible Set, fish eyes, illusion settings. That's a tale
Hmm.
as old as time. So that's nice. It's not a new problem. But we also see it in the number of special orders. It's outstanding how many special orders we get. And it's because, being honest, this is my take, Jimmy. You throw your take. When I see as many special orders as I'm seeing, it's almost always in bridal. And what we're hearing people say is we want to give them a custom experience, and people don't buy finished jewelry. And so we want them to feel like they're customizing their jewelry.
Sure.
And I combat that with no, customers have never said they want you to customize jewelry. Personalize, yes, that's different. You change a head, that's not a big deal. That's not custom. What they want is the product. They've always wanted the product. So ordering something from a catalog, a counter sketch, a tablet, they can do that at home. They don't
Hmm.
need you.
Right.
They want to see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, smell it, all the tactile senses. Maybe
Right.
smelling it and tasting it's weird, but let's not judge customers here.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Never know what they do.
you know,
Amethyst
but
can look pretty delicious sometimes.
this is a little salt. But what they want is the product. And I'm saying this with confidence because I don't know. I mean, so many jewelers have told me people don't buy finished jewelry. And I'm sitting over here going, 80% of our bridal in my store is finished.
Hmm.
80%. It's out of the case. We sell it. We restock it. We do it again.
Yep.
Um, so I know we can do it. And we've grown it, in fact, over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
In stock, jewelry items being sold with shorter wait times, and they get to feel and see it right then and there. And by
Right.
the way, and we're selling naturals in them. So I know it's possible. My take is when we're selling about selling with your wallet, we're not really listening to what customers want solved. That's my take. We're getting lazy because we go, I just want to make the sales process as simple as I can without having to ask or answer objections. I don't want to ask questions because if I hear something that they object to or I have to rebut, that makes me feel uncomfortable. There's a social anxiety to that. What if
Yeah.
I lose this sale? And so I'm not going to push the envelope. I'm just going to give them whatever they want. You want it with a little tiny twist and you want it a little bit different? Okay, fine. I'll do whatever you want.
Right.
And
Right.
that's not serving customers because you're not really listening to their needs behind what they're saying. And that's the ticket. That's my take, Jimmy.
Yeah.
What is your
Well,
take
I,
on
I
this?
also I tend to think, and I use the word lazy because I think lab-grown diamonds have caused us to become lazy salespeople, because it sells, and I'm going to refer to Pandora because Pandora, you know, when I was in the store, you didn't have to sell Pandora; it sold itself, and you were an order taker. In fact, in a lot of cases, people would hand you a list that they filled out while they were in line to buy SKU number, blah blah blah. It's crazy. So I think there's a sense of laziness. There's a little bit of lack of call it professionalism, call it sales skills, call it what you will. So there's that with lab grown diamonds because they are pretty easy to sell, based upon what you said, and also order taking. It's a couple notches above working at McDonald's when you immediately go to the iPad or the computer and start building their ring there. And you know, the owner of the store must be pulling their hair out because they just spent $250,000 to stock your bridal cases with live goods, and you're sitting there on a computer. It's like you said, they could do that at home. And once we start becoming irrelevant to people by being order takers and going lowest common denominator, then we're going to become irrelevant.
Mm.
And they're going to start doing it from their home, like I did with a Carvana car when it was 20 below zero. You know, I bought a Carvana car at
There you
home, for all of these reasons, as opposed to the emotional purchase of jewelry. They come in and why don't we start with our bridal case? It was your idea. I love it. You make this magic bridal case, and if you want to know what the magic bridal case is, sign up with us. Give us a call. We'll talk to you about it. It's setting up a bridal case that actually sells fast-selling items over and over and over again, like 2% milk in a grocery store. And I'm
And it's
sort of
working.
not even, yeah, I'm not even joking when I say that. So let's start there with even with our custom process. I love what you say. Start there, grab a wrap, grab a guard, grab a band, and start building stuff and handing it to them and get it in their paws.
And that right there, that's being a fashion consultant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Not an order
wildly
taker.
different. And not an
Yeah,
order taker. I want to show you something you did not know that you could do.
right.
That's impressive. And Matt, now everybody listening, all the jewelers watching, listening, imagine this scenario as a customer for just a second. You go to a car dealership to buy a new car or used car, whatever.
Hmm.
And on the car lot, they have all these cars parked. But once you get up close to them, you realize they're not actually cars, they're all blow ups. They're samples of cars. You can look at them, but there's
Oh
no
yeah.
engine in them, and
Oh
they're made
yeah.
out of plastic and cardboard.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy it, you go inside to a tablet, and they'll show you you can do all this, you can do that, you can change this, you can change that, and it will be here probably 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, are you going to love that car? Are you going to want that car? Does that make what did that do in your experience? Let's say you want to go buy a purse. So you go to Louis Vuitton, or you go to Coach, whatever your Gucci, whatever your favorite one is.
Yeah.
You see there's like 1, 2 purses per shelf, and you go, "Oh, I want that." And as soon as you touch the purse, it deflates because it's like a hologram. You can't buy that purse. You could order it, and someone will
Yeah.
make it, and it'll be here 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You go to Lululemon to go buy your yogi pants.
Mm-hmm.
I like me a Lululemon. I like me Fabletics. I go in there and I want to buy something, and they go, "This is great. We have all these samples here. None of these are actually clothes. These are pieces of paper to your size. You order it, and we'll come to your house 4 to 6 weeks."
Yeah.
All of that is so annoying that what will you do? You just go to Carvana. You just
Mm-hmm.
buy it online.
Yep. Amazon.
W-
You
Amazon.
know.
Easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't go to Louis Vuitton so I could touch a hologram. I
Yeah.
went to Louis Vuitton so I could buy a purse and walk out of there and feel fabulous. That's why I went to Louis Vuitton. And so
So,
when I go
yeah.
to your store and I'm looking at dozens and dozens and dozens of samples, they're not real. You can't take them home. They're fake. They're not the real thing, but you can have one and modify it and get it in 4 to 6 weeks. Why are we expecting customers to be okay with that when we would not be okay with it in those other
Jimmy
situations? I know I'm
DeGroat's
getting
not okay
grouchy
with
here
that.
because I'm kind of maybe I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm getting
No, no,
hangry
no,
over
no. But
here.
Jimmy DeGroat's not okay with that because Jimmy DeGroat wants it now. I want it checked off my
Yeah.
list. I want it in a box in my car on the way home, and I can't wait to give it to Sharon. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
There's something so unromantic about it'll be here in 3 weeks. Or you can take a look at the wax and this. I don't know. I'm going overboard a little bit, but the thing is, folks, and here's the sad part. Now we've got aged inventory in our cases because we've gotten into the habit of taking orders. So now the inventory in our cases is aged and not even fresh and new and hot selling anymore. So,
And
um,
that's when we say nobody buys bridal out of the case anymore. It's because it all sucks.
well, and
It's
you've got
gotten old.
4,000 rings in your case.
Yeah. And the crazy part, and this is where I'll end this diatribe, you
All right,
don't do this with any other category in your store. You don't have samples of pendants. You don't
right.
have samples of earrings that you will go
Timepieces.
4 to 6 weeks from now. You can have these hoops. No, you have hoops you sell, and
Yeah,
they go out the door, and you've not had a single problem with that. So why are we doing this in this other department? We've made up
yeah.
reasons because it's easy to clerk a sale. It is harder. I wouldn't say harder. It takes more expertise and
It takes a
training.
different mindset. Yeah.
Correct. So,
Um,
so how do you get these people? How do we get everybody out of the funk of selling out of our wallets and our mentality where we're making the job, trying to make the job easier for ourselves, but we're not making it better for the customer?
uh, I'm going to read from a very good book. I can't remember the author right now. Never assume the ceiling of a customer's dream. Your job is not to decide what the customer can afford. Not your job. Your job and your one and only job is to help them discover what they love. That's it. What they love. And what they love, I bet you, I'm going to test you on this. I'm going to challenge you on this, listeners. Start showing something out of your case first. Bring them there first. Talk about natural, show natural first. If they bring up lab grown, it's you're going to find out their budget based upon all the responses that you get from them. So don't worry about that. You don't have to figure that out. It's going to come to you based upon all that. Um, just start getting things in their hands. And gosh darn it, one of the saddest things is in the training that I just did to our people is a customer walks in. It's a kid out of college. He's got 8 grand in his pocket. He wants to spend 8 grand, but we judge him based upon the used Mazda that he drove up in, and maybe his clothes, and he's dressed in a hoodie, sweatshirt, or what have you. So we judge him at $2,500. So we end up selling him maybe a $3,000 bridal sale, and he's walking out going, "Well, okay, guy got that," but the salesperson just left, 6+ grand on the table.
Yeah.
And the customer's not delighted. You didn't fulfill their wishes and desires and dreams. And so you and I can so go down rabbit holes on all of this kind of stuff.
Well,
But
listeners, do this. Go to your point of sale. take a look at everybody's average retail and their percent of transactions and their percent of profit contribution. So if you're seeing the percent of profit contribution is less than the percent of transactions, that should be a flag, including for yourself. And if you're looking at a stagnant average retail, where you spend the same in a department across the board for a long period of time, it tells me that the environment that they're selling in, they have hit their ceiling.
Yeah.
And my suggestion in breaking through, as Jimmy has pointed out, is a mentality shift.
Yeah.
It's a mindset shift. And it means you got to start practicing selling bigger, showing bigger. Start at 2 to 3 times your average retail goal and show there first. Everybody should memorize their average retail goal. They should memorize what their first piece up should be, memorize the fast sellers, and go out there and make people feel fabulous by putting it in their hands. We have resources on all of this, especially the one, if you're a subscriber or you want to get a free month, there's a video I'm going to tell you to go watch. It's on the sales side. If you go to our website, if you've not signed up, it's trainretail.com. Click on the video subscriptions, $150 a month. But if you use the code free month, you get 1 month free.
Yeah,
Then
it's
you
all
can
one word,
cancel
free
anytime.
month, no capitalizations, free month. All one word, it's lowercase.
So you sign up, go to the sales platform. There's a training on there called Show and Sell. Show and Sell. It's a very great one to start with, and then springboard from there. Start on that one with your entire team and diagnose if you guys have maybe gotten stuck at a price point that you're selling yourself, you're selling out of your wallet, you're just doing special orders because it's easy for you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for the customer.
One last little hint that I got was basically, we may be amazing sellers, but based upon our emotional state at the time, let's say, for example, I crashed my Buick, okay? I have a Buick Enclave. I crashed it. Right now it's worth about $5,000, okay? Insurance company will probably give me $5,000 for it, but you think I'm going to buy a $5,000 vehicle again to replace it? No. I may be in a financial aw shucks kind of situation personally. So we kind of got to check that each day. You know, what did our water heater go out? How do we feel emotionally? And just be able to check that, and just remember, the guy with $2 million in his checking account could write that write a check like a cheeseburger, for crying out loud. He's going to be walking in today, and so you got to check your emotional. What's your emotional value? I don't know.
Yeah,
your emotional
what you're
state.
dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks very much for listening, putting up with us. We love going all over the board, and we're going to talk more about some more important, cool stuff for your stores coming up. Hey, and subscribe. We did a little test here. We get a lot of views from the different formats. But not a lot of people are subscribed. So subscribe and just get notifications whenever we send out a new podcast. All right? That's all I've got to say for today.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
We hope you leave this episode a little better than when you first began. If you'd like more resources to grow your business slow, steady, and consistently, check out our on-demand video catalog at trainretail.com. Or if you have a question or frustration we can help address in your business, write to us about it. We love to help solve big, ugly problems. So hit us up at kyle@trainretail.com or jimmy@trainretail.com. Good luck out there, and we will see you next time.